Hey everyone. In this video, we are going to go over how we can score e-commerce brands by their general average order value, and then how we can manipulate the average order value and combine their web traffic in order to make a really custom line about their average order value, the traffic, and then depending if you increase revenue by a certain amount of traffic, we'd be able to do the math and say that we think we can increase their revenue by a low range and a high range, all so that we can send better emails to e-commerce brands. And so check this one out. It's pretty cool for just scoring e-com brands by average order value, but then going all the way to create messaging. All right, so let's jump straight in. So we have built a list of companies that are using Shopify Plus, and we basically have nothing in here except for the Shopify Plus part. And so I wanted to first show you that we first, in order to find the average order value, we were trying to use Clayagent, but Clayagent was not giving us the actual results that we were looking for. So instead, I just used the Google Shopping integration inside of Clay. So now when we scale this, and I'm actually planning on making a list of e-commerce brands and just keeping it and storing it. But when you do Shopify brands, sometimes companies that have Shopify installed aren't actually e-commerce brands. And so you want to do one way to verify it is if they have a Google Shopping uh, link or a Google Shopping marketplace or something, whatever you might want to say. So we're using that integration in Clay right now. The only thing you got to be careful about is when you're doing Google Shopping, it's scraping everything for every search word that you have in there. So see how this says no matches found, because when we're in here, this is not the same domain. This link is not the same. And then we even have over here, see how we have 60 results, but only 55 were found over here. All we want to do is we just want to filter the list of objects that whatever website we're looking up, we want to make sure that we can find the actual website in the link. So then there's no messiness. And we know all of these are actually coming from the website that we think they're going to be coming from. And so we're using this inside of Clay for right now. But we're going to switch to serper.dev when we run this for real. So see how you could just search the brand of a company. Can't even think of another company brand right now. So now we just search it, and just for 2 credits, we can get everything back. And then, yeah, it's great that we got this from Amazon, but then see how we'll get it from Rode at some point. We'll see. I guess the other thing you could do is you could look up at the title to see if the title includes the brand. So that would be a good one for Rode. But wow, that's so funny. You can't even buy it off the website. Awesome. Well, anyway, see how it includes the price, and then it includes ratings and things like that as well. For maybe like Noble Project, which is the other one. Yeah, this is Rogue Fitness, but this one's from nobleproject.com, so that's going to happen far more often, right? And so it's way cheaper to use serper.dev, so we'll be swapping that out, and then you can filter a list of objects, and now you've only got products that definitely come from the website that we're looking up. So then what we did is we wanted to basically, I wanted to be able to say a line like, hey, I was looking at your website. Actually, I'll just show you what I wanted to send. I was doing some research, and it looked like a typical order on your site might be around blah, blah, blah in AOV, assuming someone purchased item reference. So we have this huge prompt here to basically say, like, if it's this AOV, multiply it times 3 because people are going to buy multiple. And if it's lower than that, they're just going to buy one, whatever. We're just going to take it like that. And then we basically just then get an output that looks like this. So I was doing some research, and it looked like a typical order on your site might be $150, assuming someone purchased 3 items such as night tea, primal packet, ignition, and that's for first form. Okay, that makes sense. I was just, and it looked like 219 if someone purchased a snowfall downslope tree by Balsam Hill. Okay, so I'm gonna then go in here and so I'll just manipulate it live for everyone actually, and we'll just change this, and so we'll say, do not include the name of the company in the output. We sending these sentences to that company. They know. So then we'll rip this again. And then when this runs, I think it was this one. Yeah. And so we'll want this one to run in particular. And of course, it's the last one to run. Okay, great. And come on, any day now. Yeah, cool. So then it fixed that. So very, very nice. Okay, cool. So now we need to get the multiplication times a web traffic number. So how the heck are we going to get web traffic in the beginning anyway? So the way we're going to get web traffic is every similar web programmatic page ever. Well, maybe not ever, but every similar web program. You see, we have the similarweb.com /website /1000pharmacy.it. They're all just created that way. So we can actually create a formula where we just take the normalized URL over here and then we just create the link like that. And then we get a Zenro scrape. Now, you're going to scrape Zenros. You have to turn on, you have to do SimilarWeb, you have to turn on the rendering of the JavaScript and you have to use a premium proxy. Now, if I were to run this again, I just found out that Crunchbase has SEMrush data that's publicly available with Zenros. Well, when you scrape it with Zenros. So I'd probably start with that first, and then anything that was missing, I would move to SimilarWeb because this is just much more expensive to run on Zenros. And Zenros is pretty cheap, so it's not the end of the world anyway. So now you're going to get this output. We see how we have all this body text. All this body text is pretty crazy. So in order to parse it, you just have to look and see how it says right here. This is what we're after. And I know that it's 1.2 million as the number because I manually check this, and I know that 1.2 million is what we're going after. So I want this number right here, right? And so what we could do is we can request a formula in Clay to give us everything after this text and before bounce, and then it's going to parse this for us. So if we go, and I mean, obviously this worked because you saw it, but so then if we go to traffic, see how all we did is we said, okay, return the data between blah, 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 and bounce. And then we got the data. So then we're good to go. Now we put this into an AI generation where now we're estimating the revenue. And I basically just gave it all the math. Look, the conversion we think is this. We have the estimated website traffic and blah, blah, blah. And then I gave it all these examples. And then I also gave it examples inside of Clay as well of like me doing the math manually so that we could get it done. And then I ran these numbers as well, and they all looked pretty good. So now we have lines that we're ready to ship to another table. And so in the table, we're going to have contacts and we're just going to do a lookup. So if there's multiple contacts, we don't have to rerun the same thing and waste money for that. And I thought you all would appreciate this. So this is how you can score companies by their general average order value and then turn that into a sentence you can put into a campaign.